Hello, hello. If you are watching this, that means you've chosen to do some learning today, and that makes my heart so very happy. Thank you, scientists, for being here. Today we're continuing to go through our lessons on life cycles. We're going to look at the life cycles of some very different animals today. The first one is another animal that goes through metamorphosis, just like the insects or the butterflies that we looked at the other day did. Any guesses what animal it might be? It's a frog. Did you know that a baby frog is actually called a tadpole? And it looks a little more like a fish than it does an actual frog, but it is not a fish. Frogs are amphibians. And like all insects, amphibians lay eggs. So a frog lays eggs. The mother frog lays eggs in a pile of very tiny, sticky stuff, and it's in the water, kind of like in a pond. A couple weeks later, the eggs hatch, and out come wiggly little tadpoles. A tadpole kind of looks like a head with a tail. Tadpoles can only live in water. They swim, and they have gills on the sides of their bodies, just like fish do, so they cannot breathe air. But remember, they're not actually fish. After a few weeks, they begin to grow back legs. So they kind of look even funnier. Now they look like a fish with legs. But remember, it's not a fish. It's a frog that's metamorphosing into, it's a tadpole that's metamorphosing into a frog. Soon it will start to grow front legs and even develop lungs. Lungs are what you and I have in our bodies that help us breathe air. Now the tadpole looks a little more like a frog, but it has a tail. Slowly the tail starts to shrink smaller and smaller until it's all gone. Now it's a real frog that breathes air, not water. Frogs usually still live near water, but they spend most of their time on land until it's time to lay eggs. Then it goes back to the water and lays eggs in the water, so the tadpoles will be able to swim as soon as they hatch, and that life cycle starts all over again. Here's a picture of a frog with its eggs. The eggs are slimy, and they kind of look like tiny eyeballs. That little black dot inside them is actually the baby. Soon it will become longer and grow the tail and look more like a tadpole. The picture on the right is a new little tadpole that doesn't have any legs yet. Now that tadpole has little back legs. Do you see them? And the picture on the right is a tadpole that has all four legs, but it still has its long tail. I think they look so funny in that stage. This tadpole lost its tail, and now it's all grown up. Soon she may go lay eggs, and the life cycle will start all over again. I wish I could show you this thing I have in person. It's a little glass rectangular prism with frogs at different stages of development inside. All of these frogs had already died, and someone saved them and put them in this glass case to kind of show the different stages. Do you see the little number 1 over on the left? Up above the number 1 are real eggs from frogs. Look how tiny they are. Then look down at the bottom where it says number 2. Those are the eggs, but they're starting to get longer and grow their little tails. The objects above number 3 are bigger tadpoles, and then number 4 shows tadpoles the way we usually think about them, with their long tails. Number 5 shows a tadpole that has already grown back legs, and number 6 is a tadpole that has all 4 legs, but it still has the tail. Number 7 looks like a frog, but it still has a little stump of a tail. Number 8 is the fully developed frog. I really do wish you could look at this more closely and turn it over, but I hope this photo was kind of cool to see. Now let's look at some life cycles of some other animals. Here's a turtle's life cycle. A turtle is a reptile. That's the type of animal it is. And just like insects and amphibians, all reptiles lay eggs. So turtles begin inside an egg. When the egg hatches, we call the new baby turtle a hatchling. Then the word juvenile means child or young. So the juvenile turtle is a young, small turtle, but it looks a lot like its parents. Then it grows up to be an adult who eventually can lay eggs. Sea turtles kind of do something opposite of what frogs do. They spend most of their lives swimming in the ocean, but when it's time to lay eggs, they get out, go up on the land, and they lay their eggs in a hole on the sand. When the hatchlings come out, they actually rush toward the water immediately. Look at that adorable little picture of the turtle hatchling. Isn't he cute? And those are showing some pictures or some hatchlings heading out toward the ocean. Now let's look at the life cycle of a bird. Just like insects and amphibians and reptiles, all birds also lay eggs. This picture shows the life cycle of a robin, which is a very common bird around where we live. Robins lay really pretty blue eggs. When the eggs hatch, we call the baby a hatchling, just like with the turtles. Then the hatchling grows a little bit and we call it a nestling. And then a fledgling, which is a bigger baby bird, and you can see in the picture it has all its feathers now. Soon it will learn how to fly, and the juvenile bird is the young bird. So it's still a young baby bird, but it's a lot bigger and it can fly. Eventually it turns into an adult bird that will someday lay eggs and start the life cycle all over again. Here's another picture or some other pictures of birds. These are emperor penguins. And they're birds, so their life cycle is similar to a robin, but there are some differences because of the environment where these penguins live. They live in Antarctica, where it's freezing cold year-round. They don't build nests or sit on their eggs like a lot of other birds do. The mother lays one single egg, and then the dad penguin actually holds the egg on top of his feet. If the egg touches the ice, it could freeze and kill the baby bird inside. So he keeps it warm up on top of his feet and under his body. He stands like that for 75 days. That's a long time. It's amazing how he takes care of that egg like that. When the baby chick comes out, it looks fuzzy and gray instead of just like its parents, but soon the feathers and the colors of him will change too. All right, now here's a tiger, just like a Benton Heights tiger. Do you know what kind of animal a tiger is? Tigers are mammals, just like people. And unlike insects, amphibians, reptiles, and birds, we've talked about all those, unlike those, mammals do not lay eggs. Their babies are born alive. The mom takes care of the babies, which includes feeding them milk. So the tiger is a mammal, and so are we. Here's a picture of the human life cycle, even though the artist drew it in a straight line instead of a circle. The top row shows a girl and the bottom row shows a boy. Can you find the picture that matches the stage that you're in right now? Your teacher shared 3 other links for science today. One is a video done by 2 little boys as they show you a frog's life cycle in their own backyard pond. It's a really cute video, and you can see the frogs in all different stages. The other 2 links are for YouTube videos of me doing read-alouds. One is a nonfiction book about butterflies with some really cool illustrations. And the other one is a super funny fiction book about a caterpillar who doesn't want to wait the whole 2 weeks until it turns into a butterfly. He's very impatient. It's a funny book, so make sure you go check those out. I hope you had fun learning about life cycles today. Friday will continue and you'll have a chance to do a little life cycle project for me that I'm excited about. I miss you all and I think about you constantly. Bye, friends.